All right. So today's expression is,
Buscarle 3 pies al gato.
which literally means looking for 3 feet on the cat,
Very weird.
looking for 3 paws on the cat. But in reality, it means to overcomplicate
Mhm.
things, to make something that is very simple, very complicated.
That's right. So the figurative meaning to well, let me give you English equivalent. Have you heard of splitting hairs?
Not really. I
Okay, so
should
think
learn my English expressions.
yeah, that's a different
Hey, I
podcast
know
though.
the Spanish ones. This is the podcast about Spanish
Exactly,
expressions.
exactly. But think about it. If you have hairs very thin, put together, if you're splitting them, you're either, separating them one by one,
Mm-hmm.
or you can also think of like taking one strand of hair and trying to split it into multiple pieces. That's an overly complicated task. That's something like looking for
Making
trouble.
yeah, 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 yeah. You know what? This reminds me of what my grandmother, a Latino
Oh, wait, we're
grandmother, of
bringing out the
course.
grandmas already?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
always.
okay.
Latina grandmas are always present. Will
Yes.
probably be present in every episode, especially mine. She traumatized me a little bit,
That's
but
her job. That was her
yeah.
job.
So
Yeah.
I used to love to read. I still love to read, but I used to read a lot, and I would ask existential questions all the time. It's like, what is happening? Happiness. What is
How
love? What is the meaning of life? And my grandmother was always like, stop shredding the beef. I was like, what? Yeah, like stop making the beef shredded more and more
Oh,
thin,
like
you know?
when you literally shred beef into strands, like
Maybe
thin
it comes
strands?
that in Venezuela we have this. Our national dish is called pabellon, which is made of shredded beef, rice, and beans and sweet plantains.
Ooh.
So maybe it came from that. Like, stop shredding the beef so much. Stop
Yeah, exactly.
complicating things that are not that complicated.
Exactly. How dare you, Maria, have an
How dare
independent
you,
voice?
yeah, ask what love is? You're either in love or you're not, and you should know what it is. No, I don't. Okay.
Well, that's exactly. That's like splitting hairs. And then another one that you can connect back to Tres Pies al Gato is making a mountain out of a molehill. Have you heard of that one?
That I have no clue.
Okay, molehill. Picture it out on the field in the grass, a little mound of dirt where the mole, the animal.
Wait. Isn't it mole the marks you
No,
have on your skin?
no, not on your skin. The mole, like the animal, which is a topo in Spanish. It digs underground.
Yes. Okay,
Yes,
I get it now.
yes,
Oh, okay. So to make something small very big,
exactly.
or like to drown in a glass of water,
Perfect,
ahogarse en un vaso de agua.
perfect.
Okay,
But back to
hour.
tres pies al gato. Where does this come from? Why? And also, okay, so before this, we were even talking about it. Why is it 3 feet on a cat when a cat, a healthy cat, would typically already have 4 paws or feet? So
Exactly.
finding three
If
feet,
it's simplifying things, so it
yeah,
makes no sense.
it should be easy.
Actually, I've always said buscarle 5 patas al gato.
Ah, I hear, I
Because it's
hear.
like, you're like, the cat only has 4 paws, why are you looking for 5? And that apparently comes from the 17th century, where you know the conmans that have 3 cups, and they say, I guess you try to guess where the coin is
Oh
under the
yeah,
three
that's
cups
called, that has a name. That's 3 cup Monty, I
Okay,
think.
something
Okay,
like
okay,
that. So
that
a
game.
con man like that would say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm gonna prove to you that the cat has 5 paws," and you say, "No, it has 4. No, it has 5," and then he will tease you and convince you that the tail is the 5th paw. So he is looking for
Ah.
cinco pies al gato.
So the original phrase, way back, 17th century, a long time ago, was cinco pies al gato, finding
Exactly.
finding 5 feet
It
or
was
paws on the cat.
exactly. It was overcomplicating and deceiving.
Mm.
But how did it become buscarle 3 pies al gato, which is a
Ah,
common one nowadays?
well, I'm glad you asked that. That is the common one. That's the one that I grew up
Mm-hmm.
uh, hearing and using in Peru, where I grew up. And that's what I looked up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really interesting. It ties to a very, very well known Spanish writer. You may have heard of him, Cervantes. Miguel de
Ah,
Cervantes.
I don't know. Rings a bell.
He has
Yes,
a
of
few
course.
bestsellers, just a
I think he's
handful.
gonna be famous one
Okay,
day.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, El Quijote, something like
That's
that.
the one. That's the
Okay.
big hit. So in El Quijote, Don Quixote de la Mancha, Cervantes changed the phrase. He used this common expression. It was already common and popular in his time. But instead of writing buscarle 5 pies al gato, he deliberately changed it to 3 pies al gato. So the question is why? And the scholars, the linguists, they've debated this for a while. They think, oh, it's in line with the character of Don Quixote because he's pretty aloof. He's pretty, silly sometimes, chasing windmills, right?
Yeah, he's a dreamer.
So it wouldn't be out of character to misuse a phrase and maybe not even notice,
Mhm.
right? But the explanation that I find more interesting is that it's a really clever play on words by Cervantes. So by changing it from 5 pies al gato to 3 pies al gato, he's making a commentary about the poetic meter of the phrase. So he's writing in verse, and in Spanish, un pie, 1 foot, is a unit of poetic meter. It's 1 syllable.
Mhm.
So think about the word cat, gato. How many?
Gato, dos
That's right.
pies.
2 pies. So what he's saying is, no le busques 3 pies al gato. Don't look for 3 syllables
Ah,
in the 2 syllable word.
you just blew my mind. That makes total sense. I love it.
You're welcome.
Gato, no le busques tres pies. Well, now I understand.
But it's the same idea, right?
Mhm.
It's still about overcomplicating something when it doesn't need to be complicated. And so often, going back to the cultural context, when would you hear this phrase, no le busques 3 pies al gato? It would be, for example, a polite way of letting someone know that they're overanalyzing a situation. So you would tell them politely, lovingly, no le busques 3 pies al gato. Can you think of any examples in your own life like
Guess who
that?
I'm thinking of? My grandmother again.
Oh, abuela.
Okay, let's say mi
Abuela.
abuela. I'm waiting for a call from this guy that I met. I'm a teenager, insecure, hormonal, and he hasn't called. And I asked, Abuela, I think maybe something happened to him, or maybe he's in love with another person, or maybe he just moved to another country. Creating all sorts of theories, or maybe just I should have like dyed my hair in another color because he doesn't have like brown hair, and I should be blonde. She would be
Oh,
like, no le busques 3 pies al gato. He will call you. And if he doesn't call you in 3 days, that means he's not interested. It's like, yeah, you're right. It's that
right.
simple.
Don't torture yourself. Don't
Yeah. No
overthink
le
it.
busques 3 pies al gato. What
Yeah.
about you? What example can you think of?
Well, guess what?
Uh-huh.
I also think of my abuela.
Abuelita
Mi
too. Ay,
abuelita.
abuelitas.
Mi
Okay.
abuela Gigi. That's what we called her. So she and my mother, who inherited from her, were very nervous human beings. They were always very cautious, very afraid that I was going to get in trouble or get hurt. And I was not a, risk-seeking child. I wasn't climbing trees every day, and probably because they were telling me, no le busques 3 pies al gato. Like, don't go looking for trouble because you're going to get hurt. That's another way of using the phrase, like you're out playing, you're having fun. Don't overcomplicate it by climbing that tree. Or in my case, we were, at the beach and there were cliffs, not super scary, dangerous cliffs, but cliffs next to the ocean. Don't go climbing that, just looking for fun. You're looking for trouble. You're asking for an accident. No le busques 3 pies al gato.
It makes me think of, remember in the 80s where everybody was talking about subliminal advertisement.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes, in those ads about washing machines, you can see like a naked person in between. And it's like that's pretty much buscarle 3 pies al gato
How is that?
too.
How is that 3 pies al
Because you're
gato?
overcomplicating a simple ad that probably somebody
Oh,
just, and you're making it like, oh, they added that never happened.
right.
That
So
was
it's
proven that they never added. Like,
It's like the conspiracy theorist mind looking for complications and extra hidden
oh, the
details and trouble.
conspiracists are always looking por 3 pies al gato
Yeah,
in any headline. There's a 3 pies al gato that they're looking for.
yeah, looking for trouble where there isn't any, right? Or
Exactly.
going back to the English, that's a perfect use of making a mountain out of an anthill. You
Okay.
see something little and you want to blow it up into a huge conspiracy, a big problem.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I
So I
think so.
think. Do you think it's clear? We explained it well.
I think so. I think we slowed down. and we took this expression, really opened it up, looked at the background, looked at the historical context, and gave some good examples.
Good. So I think we're ready to say thank you for accompanying us in our first episode, and we hope to see you next time with a new Spanish expression.
That's right. So if you like this and you want to hear more, just follow this podcast, and we'll be back with more.
Adiós y recuerden, remember, no le busquen tres pies al gato.
Bye.